Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the fourth day of the top 10 series tips of workshop. Today, we are going to discuss about phonics, right? So today we are discussing about 10 rules which we frequently use in phonics, and why phonics is a little difficult and how things can be a little easier for children. And these 10 tips, I think as educators, it's going to help you out for making things a little better for the children and also making them a little more understanding how to spell words and when to use what. Okay, so let's start. Great. So for those who have joined in today and have not been there for the last couple of sessions, I am Sheetal Jethy, the founder director for Chalk Institute of Teacher Training. We have been doing these workshops for empowering the educators, teachers, and parents. And obviously, Chalk keeps on doing these kind of events on a very regular basis to make educators much more resourceful in terms of handling the younger minds, right? Phonics being one of the most the topics which everybody wants to get into and everybody wants to learn more about it so that they can facilitate the children, and hence these 10 tip series also included one day of phonics so that you guys can have a little more insight on these phonics for the children, right? So let's start off. What is phonics? So when we say phonics, we all know that it is the knowledge of sound of any letter, right? Always remember, a letter or an alphabet has three aspects. One is the name of that letter or that alphabet. Two is how it is written, the script of, let's say, A, it is written as A. So the second part is the script of the letter. And third is the sound of the letter. So every alphabet has three aspects. So the first being the name, the second being the script, way it is written, and the third, the third being the sound, what it makes. So the third aspect, which is the sound of the letter, is basically called as phonics, right? So the knowledge of sound of any letter, relationship between how it is read and written, that's called as phonics. What happens when a child has phonological awareness, right? Now, when you look back, let's say in our age, in the 80s, there was usually no phonics awareness when we were learning an ABCD or when we were reading and writing. So the way what we were doing or when we were reading is that we were just mugging up the words, the spelling. There was a dictation test which used to happen where we were told that, okay, these 30 or 50 words you will have to read and remember and then come back and the teacher will take a test. That was a dictation test. And from 10 words, 10 on 5, 10 on 6, 10 on 9, whatever you receive. So that's how we were introduced to spellings. Then we always had dictionaries, right? And then we started learning words through dictionaries that, okay, there's a new word which was introduced and we used to go back and check how the pronunciation is done. Now, nowadays, obviously, in this new era, from the time we have started introducing phonics into the world of our children, that point of time, things have become a little easier. And on the same hand, it has become complicated as well. Because there's a lot of rules and regulations which are there into phonics. And sometimes some words do not follow any rules and regulations, right? So hence, phonics can be making things a little easier for the children because at one point of time, there are umbrella rules that yes, these words have these sounds and they are going to be pronounced in these particular ways. Hence, it becomes little easier for the children. But once it comes to difficult words where they don't follow any rules and regulations, that happens when the child gets a little tricky. So let's understand the first top 10 tips where uh, you might use it across with the children, and it makes a life a little more easier for you as well and for the children as well. Yeah. Why is phonics difficult? Now, if you ask me, we can categorize the words or the alphabets into couple of categories. Now, these are the words where the initial sounds of the letter name, these letters tends to be very simple to learn. The names of these letters are similar to the sound. Okay, the sound they make. For example, B says B, C says C. If at all, it is soft. D says D, D as in duck. G says G. J says J, K says K, P says P, and E says V. So these words are very similar to their names. So if you listen their names, and if you are trying to put it forward into how things are going to be pronounced, or how phonetically they are sounding, what is the phonetical sound which they make, their names are very, very similar to what they are called as. Okay, so this is first set of words. Now let's come to the second set of words, or second set of letters or alphabets. Letters association. Now these letters get a little more difficult for the child. Why? Because the sound is like the letter is ending the name, ending of the name of the letter. For example, M. For example, F. So you spell it as E and F. F. So the letter's name is ending. Okay. L. That goes as L, E and L, as if the name of the letter L is ending the word, right? So these words becomes a little tricky for the child. So F, L, M, N, R, S, and X. So all these letters, if you see, they get trickier because they sound like ending the letter name. Correct? Now let's move on to the next category. Letter associations. So these are a little more trickier word for the alphabets for the child. Now it gets tricky because the sound of these letters are not at all related to the name. Do you see? So if you say H, A-C-H, H, Q, W, Y, right? So these words have couple of letters, or these alphabets have couple of alphabets put together to make the name. And hence it becomes much more tricky when the child reaches these alphabet sounds. Correct? Now these becomes much more trickier. Why? Because these alphabets have two sounds, or make two sounds. They don't have one. C can be pronounced as S and K, right? So K as in cat, K as in cake, C as in S as in circle, and S as in center, right? So similarly, we have G as well. So G as in giant and G as in gem. Similarly, G as in goat. So you have two sounds of G and two sounds of C. So we call them as soft and hard G and soft and hard C. Correct? So English can be crazy. So once the child starts understanding these rules, that point of time, then the child gets a little more facilitated in making these alphabets getting used into making or framing words. Right? So let's move on to the top 10 tips which we are going to discuss today. Right? Tip number 10. All we know that the words or the alphabets are divided into two major categories. One is the consonant and the second is the vowels. Always remember that all the consonants makes one sound other than C and G. C and G also makes two sounds, right? C makes softer and harder, and G also makes it softer and harder. So other than C and G, all the consonants makes one sound. Okay. However, all the alphabets or all the vowels make two sounds. All the alphabet or all the vowels make two sounds. One is long and other is short. Okay. So this is tip number 10. Let's come to tip number 9. All the words which we start, the first things which we start making the word with the children is CVC words, right? We all would have started with CAT cat, BAT bat, RAT rat, right? MUG mug. Uh, all these things have three parts. One is a consonant, second is the vowel, and the third is the consonant again. So we frequently call this as CVC words. And that is from where the child starts building in word family. So we have EG family, AT family, we have UG family. So under every family, then we start making the child learn words. Now these are going to add on to the word bank of the child once the child understands a word family. So whenever we start with a child for making a word from alphabets, we start with CVC words, which is consonant, vowels, and consonant, and then move on to word family with a vowel and consonant. So A-T, A is vowel, V is consonant, and then we start building the word family of A-T, right? Let's move on to tip number 8, the magical E, right? Now, when there is a CVC word and E is added at the end of that CVC word, it becomes, so the A is a short vowel at that point of time. So map, when we say map, the A has a short sound, map, a, right? That's a short sound. But when a magical E is added at the end of the CVC word, the whole word becomes the vowel in the middle becomes long, right? So can at the middle, but when you put E at the end, that becomes cane. But at that same point of time, the E always remains silent. Though the E is added, the short vowel becomes a long vowel, but the sound of the E, which is at the end, remains silent. So when we pronounce it as can at the first time, the vowel is short. When E is added, it becomes cane. The vowel becomes long. At the same point of time, E is silent. I would request everyone to please switch off their mics until and unless when we are speaking. That becomes a little difficult for others to understand and listen. Great. So if you look at all the words over here, fin, F-I-N, fin, I is short, and when magical E is added, it becomes fine. Pin, I is short, and when E is added, it becomes pine, right? So E and it becomes complete big vowel or a long vowel. So we call this as magical E. When we introduce it across to the children, these kind of words, you can actually tell them stories about magical E. Magical E becomes silent. It is not heard at all, but it makes the short vowel long, right? Let's come to tip number 7. Blends. Now, what are blends? Now, these are two consonants where they come together and you can hear little bit of sound of each one of the letter. Okay. Now, let me give you some examples. BL, blur. You can hear both the sounds together. BR, br. CL, cl. Right? Now, these are very common. So the chart which you see at this end is are very commonly used blends, which the children start learning into their day-to-day words which they make. Now, as we said about CVC words, that we start making CVC word families, or the word families with the consonant, vowels, and consonant. Similarly, we start making blend family with the children as well. So once we categorize a blend, we start making words which starts with BL, which starts with BR, which starts with CL, and hence the vocabulary, the number of words the child starts making becomes higher. So similarly, as you see, we say BL, we have blue, we have black, we have bless. Similarly, BR, we have brown, we have breeze, we have lot of words we can start making it with these kind of blends. So always remember, two consonants coming together where you can hear both the sounds of the consonant but little. Hence, they are called as blend. They have blend together. Okay, but you can listen across to both the sounds. It's exactly like a milkshake. When you are making, you can also taste. So banana milkshake, where let's say take about banana milkshake, you can taste the banana, you can taste the milk, you can taste the ice cream, right? So it's exactly like that. So here you can hear the individual sound of both the consonants together, right? Rule number 6, digraphs. What are digraphs? Now, when two consonants come together to make one single sound, which is different from the sound which they make individually, right? Now, P makes a sound P, H makes a sound H, and when they come together, they make a sound F, right? So it's individually whatever the sounds they are making, and when they come together, they make a single sound, and that is called as a digraph. Now, what we do is we start teaching, as we did it for blends, we start figuring out families for digraphs as well. So what are the words starting from PH? What are the words starting from CH, ch, f, sh, th? right? So you start making the child think about and start building in words with digraph family as well. So if you look at on the right hand side, these are the most commonly used digraphs which a child should start with, right? Let's come to tip number 5, the Bossy R. Now, what this rule says is that when a single vowel is followed by an R, then R bosses the vowel sound and dominates it. Okay, that's why it's called as Bossy R. So what you hear is only the sound of R getting bossed over the vowel. So if you look at star, AR, but you can actually hear only the R. A is very feebly, listen. I mean, you can't listen A. Similarly, ER, ruler, it's R. Majorly, you can hear the R. Similarly, girl, R. Sports, R. Purple, so whichever vowel you see, whether it is an A, whether it is E, whether it is I, O, or U, when after a vowel R comes over, that point of time R bosses the vowel. The sound of the vowel is usually not heard, right? So that's why we call it as the bossy R. Let's come to tip number 4, vowel buddies. Whenever there are two vowels walking together or coming in a word, let's say we usually teach it across to the children like this, that two vowels walking together, the first does the talking, the second is always silent, right? So vowel buddies are basically when two vowels come together in a word, that point of time, you can always hear the first vowel ka sound. And it is always a long pronunciation. Okay? It's always a long pronunciation. So this, when you talk about rain, so there are two vowels, A and I. When it comes to two vowels, what happens? The first does the talking, rain. And you can hear a longer sound of the first vowel, right? Leaf. Leaf again, I can hear only the E. Pie, only I. Boat, O. Glue, the U, right? So these are called as vowel buddies. When two vowels go walking together, the first does the talking. Okay. Let's come to rule number 3. The initial A. When a word begins with A, then it is majorly a long sound. Now you will have to think about the words which starts with A. When we are having a word as starting with A, the longer pronunciation of the words are usually there, like ace, right? Some of the exceptions are obviously there when we are talking about aeroplane, right? So aeroplane, or so that has a long pronunciation of A. Ace has a long pronunciation of A. But when you're talking about apple, a, right? So lot of words when we are talking, or lot of rules when we are having, always remember there will be exceptions. And at that point of time, we usually tell the child that there are exceptions into this word, or there are exceptions into this rule. But there are 60% or 70% of the words which usually follow the rule and hence we make a rule out of it. Okay. Tip number 2, the floss rule. Now the floss rule says the words with one syllable ending with F, L, S or Z usually end with a doubles, right? Now you can see the examples. Cliff, right? Cliff, huff, puff, stuff, and ending with L, doll, hill, bill, well. With S, with pass, chess, kiss, less. Ending with Z, jazz, fizz, buzz, and fuzz. So this is called as the floss rule, right? Let's come to the last tip of the day, which is the twinning Y. Y, when used as vowel, has two sounds, right? One is for I and one is for E. Always remember, vowel is used as a consonant and also as a vowel. Now, when Y is used as yo-yo, then it is a consonant. But Y, when it is used at the end, cry, right? It replaces the I. Fly, again, it replaces the I. Money, it replaces E. Happy, it replaces E. So vowel and consonant, Y is used as both the things, but when Y is used as a vowel, it can also replace an E and it can also replace a Y. I. Okay. So these were the top tips for phonics awareness. As I have been always saying that we have a lot of courses or short-term courses, which are basically 10-hour programs for certification programs. Phonics is one of the topmost programs which we keep giving across to our students. It's been beautifully accepted. There are a lot of worksheets, there are a lot of fun-filled activities which we keep on doing on to this 10-hour workshops of phonics. We are launching a batch of phonics in the next month. So please stay tuned and we will definitely keep you all posted regarding the phonics workshop which is coming up. Other than the phonics workshop, we have close to about 40 workshops or 40 different kind of short-term courses which we keep on running into Chalk Academy. Hence, if you guys are interested, please do let us know. We can help you out into all those courses. Other than the short-term courses, which are the 10-hour programs, we have our early childhood diploma programs and diploma in nursery teachers training program, which are all happening online right now. Every day classes are there, weekly classes are there. So if anyone wants little more information on that, you can always write us and always call us. We are accredited onto international level with International Accreditation Organization, and with Indian organization, we are associated with Ministry of HRD of India through All India Early Childcare Education Organization. When you complete any certification courses, I mean the long-term programs with us, you usually get 3 certificates at the end of the course programs, which is obviously your course completion certificate. The second is your POXO certificate, which is a specialized training during this months, and a safe baby training certificate, which are highly essential if you are going to be handling young children. Centers we have across India, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, and Mumbai. You want to get more information about our courses, the details on the short-term course, the long-term course, you can call us up on 911-088-3082 or write us on info@chalk.academy. So this was for today. Any questions if anyone wants to ask? Please feel free to ask questions.
Good morning, Sheetal.
Good morning.
This is Zenobia here. Sheetal, I have not been able to attend all the classes. I would have liked to. Is there anything like literature material or something that we can get?
As of now, I have not given a provision, but let me just check if we can arrange for some materials for you. I hope you would have filled in the form with your details of your email address and your phone number
Yes,
as well.
yes, that is given.
Okay, sure. So at the end of these 10 days workshop, we'll also send you a link of feedback. And obviously there is a certification of whichever session which you have attended. Hence, please do fill up that form so that I also have the details again. And maybe if there is a specific requirement, you can mention it onto the comments column over there.
Right. Thank you so much.
No worries.
It becomes a bit difficult when we are working. Some cases come or something, and then you just can't make it at that point of time. So that is the reason.
Hope you
I'm enjoying every bit of it.
Hope you had a good, some takeaway kind of thing from the session.
Yeah, I am. Especially as a counselor, it becomes very easy for me to guide the children. So it's very, very useful.
Great. I just loved it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else has any questions? Great. So it was awesome having you all. So see you all tomorrow back again at 11 o'clock for the day 5 series of this series of this workshop. Bye-bye all.